Well, good day, viewers, and welcome to the Sport Wrap Show. I'm your host, Brian Munango, updating you with the latest sports news. Well, we did see a lot of big teams getting knocked out of the Champions League yesterday, last night, where we saw Atalanta crashing out to Club Brugge. We saw the likes of AC Milan with good players crashing out. To Benfica, that is. So it's getting more interesting in football. Not to Benfica, but AC Milan got knocked out by Feyenoord from the Netherlands. We are very excited for another round tonight where we'll see Manchester City or Real Madrid go through to the knockout stages, and we are very excited for that. But let's change the focus to local news as we get into the hit list. Well, in our top story for today, Bank Windhoek sponsor 460,000 for volleyball, partnering in volleyball for over 10 years. Bank Windhoek announced a sponsorship of 460,000 Namibian dollars to the Namibian Volleyball Federation. The announcement took place earlier today in the city of Windhoek. Well, the sponsorship is to assist the Namibian Volleyball Federation in furthering the sports growth in Namibia. Vice President of the Volleyball Federation, Lina Matthias, had this to say.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lina Matthews, the Vice President of Namibia Volleyball. I'm accompanied by Albert Cavare, our Director of the League. We are here at Bank Windhoek to receive our yearly sponsorship, and it is indeed a happy moment because what this sponsor meant to us, it really gave us a grassroots to develop. And in volleyball, without development, we will not have national team that we can send out to represent Namibia. So this sponsorship, it means a lot to us because it's mainly also developing the youth and giving the opportunity to a Namibian child to participate in volleyball.
Exciting news for the Namibian Volleyball Federation, with Lina just having a few special words there. In our second story, Flame, the special one, Nangolo, one of the most anticipated boxing talents in Namibia, is set to face experienced Ghanaian boxer Felix Ajoma for the vacant WBO African Super Featherweight title. The highly anticipated showdown will take place on 29 March 2025 in Windhoek, Namibia. While Felix Ajoma, a seasoned fighter with an impressive record of 22 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw, will be a formidable opponent for Nangolo with his wealth of experience. Ajoma aims to prove himself in this major fight. So we are all very excited to see him in the ring taking on the special one. Moving on to our next story, 15-year-old attacking midfielder Nancy Lebang from V-Power Angels FC has been named in the final 21-player squad for the Brave Gladiators ahead of their Women's African Cup of Nations qualifier match against Eswatini on Friday at 1 o'clock. She is the youngest player in the squad. Well, I think that's a huge honor representing the country at such a young age. But we do go across borders. We have Letsile Tebogo is set to continue his quest for the 100-meter supremacy in the Wanda Diamond League as he heads to Shanghai for the second meeting of the season on May the 3rd. While the Botswana spring sensation solidified his status as one of the biggest names in the men's athletics in 2024, capturing a gold medal at the Olympics in the 200-meter and securing 5 Diamond League victories between July and September. Good Africa Good Morning correspondent Rosiang shares more on this issue.
Letsile Tebogo, the sprinting sensation, is looking to solidify his 100-meter supremacy as he heads to Shanghai on May the 3rd. For the second meeting of the season. Now, the 21-year-old really is determined to claim his first ever Diamond Trophy this year in 2025 before he turns his focus to the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo this September. The season marks a major shift for for Tebogo, who, after clinching victory in Rome last August, announced that he would be dedicating this year, 2025, to the 100 meters, already locked in for the season opener in Xiamen on April 26th. He will compete in a Chinese double with his appearance just a week later, aiming to rack up early points on the road to the final. Now the sprinting sensation is expected to join an electrifying lineup of track and field superstars already confirmed for Shanghai, including high jump world record holder and Olympic champion Yaroslava Mahushik and 400 meter hurdles world record holder Karsten Warholm. Yes, Litsile Tebogo is the sprinting sensation in Botswana, and the country is looking forward to his performance as he continues to set himself apart, as he continues on his quest for his 100 meter supremacy in the world.
Well, a delegation from World Athletics is set to arrive in Botswana to evaluate the country's readiness to host the 2026 World Relays as the nation pushes to stage the global competition for the first time, with a bid submission deadline set for Friday. Botswana Athletics Association confirmed in a statement that the process aligns with the country's plans to celebrate its 60th independence anniversary next year. Rorisang Mohowe gives more.
Well, as we know, the World Athletics event is a prestigious track and field relays event hosted by the World Athletics. It brings together elite teams to come and compete in track and field events from across the globe, and therefore this essentially means that Botswana continues to place itself on the global arena, on the global stage when it comes to track and field as well as athletics. Now, the fact that Botswana is looking to host, or is at least bidding to host this very prestigious event, it means that it is positioning itself on the global stage. Not only that, but according to the Botswana Athletics Association, it is in line with the country's plans to celebrate its 60th anniversary next year. Botswana gained independence in 1966, and therefore the year 2026 marks 60 years of independence. And according to the Botswana Athletics Association, which confirmed in a statement which reads, as part of the celebrations, Botswana Athletics Association is bidding to host the World Athletics Relay for 2026. It also further announced that as part of the bidding process, a delegation from the World Athletics Bid Committee will be in the country on Friday the 21st, and that's this week, until the 23rd, to assess the nation's preparedness. The athletics committee will be arriving in the country in order to evaluate Botswana's readiness to host this very prestigious athletics event.
Good updates from Botswana there. Well, we'll be going for a short break and we'll be back with a spotlight.
Get ready for the Namibia 2027 World Cup preparation campaign. Check out the Valvicia's Boerland Cavaliers friendly clash live on NTV, DSTV, GoTV, and our Facebook pages, playing on the 22nd of February 2025 at the Hage Geingob Stadium. Tune in at 2:30 p.m. to catch the game at 3 p.m. No spectators allowed due to the mourning period in honor of Dr. Sam Shafishuna Nyoma.
Well, with F1's first ever combined livery launch, there are great expectations for the season ahead and equally as many questions. We take a look at the expectations for the season ahead, where Irina Marie gives us a wonderful breakdown.
When you see this face on Sport Wrap, that can only mean one thing, and that one thing means that I am incredibly excited and my life has purpose again. Formula One is back. We haven't had cars out on track yet. We have pre-season testing coming up next week, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, and then somewhere just after middle March, the 16th of March, will officially be the first race of the calendar in Australia. But when I close my eyes and I think hard enough, I swear I can hear the faint roaring of engines in Australia in a couple of weeks. So very exciting times. For the first time in the history of Formula One, a joint livery launch was held, and this to commemorate Formula One's 75th anniversary, which is being celebrated this year. The first Formula One race, just fun fact, in May of 1950. First race winner and first Formula One champion is Giuseppe Farina. He won that in an Alfa Romeo. So very exciting time for Formula One, especially for people like me who are interested in the sport for the history and for the legacy and for those records. Giuseppe Farina still holds a very straightforward record, being the Formula One champion who took the championship in his inaugural season. It was everybody's inaugural season, but he did win in his inaugural season, so fair is fair, I guess. But very exciting times ahead. Lando Norris, confident as ever, I think more confident than we've ever seen him. He was seen on the British rapper Central C's stories, talking about, the greatness isn't brewing, greatness is here, I feel great. So he's calling himself great. He's very much sent the message that he's ready to win his first championship this season. There are a lot of drivers vying for it, specifically with Adrian Newey leaving Red Bull. That leaves Red Bull in a somewhat uncertain spot. Adrian Newey, obviously a designing genius, credited, with designing some of the most dominant cars in Formula One. Absolutely an aid to Red Bull's dominance in the past couple of years. So Red Bull will have to find their feet. Whether they have found it in the design that they have now, which by the way doesn't look much different because their livery is pretty much exactly the same, but whether they found their feet in this car or not, we'll have to wait for pre-season testing. We'll have to wait to actually see that car on a track. But Adrian Newey has left Red Bull, and that does leave them in a spot where they need to kind of adapt or die. Adrian Newey obviously is not the only hand working on that car, but he is the hand drawing it. So he's kind of a legend for drawing on, putting pencil to paper and physically drawing out a design. So he's the one drawing, and he's now drawing for Aston Martin soon. So, will Red Bull remain on top is a big question. Can Red Bull remain on top without Adrian Newey? I think is a question we've been asking ourselves for a long time, and we'll have to see during the course of the season. McLaren, obviously, by the end of last season, were in absolute top form, and specifically given how strong they've been on upgrades this past season, there is a real chance that the McLaren guys might stick it to the man this season round. But it's all very uncertain for now. Liam Lawson's still new at Red Bull. He's got a very competitive spirit. Max Verstappen has got a very competitive spirit. So I do if it comes to blows with Liam Lawson and Max Verstappen, I would definitely predict a Red Bull Mercedes in that situation. Just because they're both so competitive and they both seem to be so serious about winning. If it comes to blows, I think Red Bull can really prepare for having a teammate rivalry on their hands. And I think a good old school, I don't want to say good, but a good old school Formula One teammate rivalry. So there's a lot to look forward to. Carlos Sainz at Williams, he's kind of tipped his hat at Alex Albon and, alluded to the idea that him and Albon have a very similar way of thinking, very similar way of going through things. The Williams team themselves are incredibly optimistic about Carlos Sainz going to Williams. They're saying he's it contributed incredibly to the development of the car. And that's what Williams has been doing for the past 2 years since James Vowles entered Williams as their team principal. James Vowles, obviously a technical mind, an engineering mind, and he's been very vocal about breaking Williams apart so that he can put it back together and so that the team can put it back together. Alex Albon also saying there's a lot of passion, a lot of motivation within the Williams team at the moment, which wasn't there 2 or 3 years ago. So very exciting times for Williams. We'll have to see if they can make it through the first race without an electric failure, or the first 4 races without an electric failure. But that remains to be seen throughout the coming season. But for now, my life has purpose again. I'll see you guys after pre-season testing.
A big thank you to Irene Marie, who always has all the information when it comes to Formula One racing. I wish I had that talent, or I wish I had all that insight that she does on Formula One. I think they start with practice racing next week, and we are all very excited for that. I think I'll try and better my skills or better my knowledge when it comes to Formula One, because it's definitely a very, very interesting sport. We'll be going for a short break, and we'll be back with your take.
Taking flight has never been easier. Paratus is introducing Sky-Fi internet packages with speeds that will have you reaching for your seatbelts. Starting from $500 Namibian, excluding VAT, per month, with speeds reaching up to 10 megabits per second. There's even a prepaid option where you can top up your Sky-Fi internet for just $15 Namibian per gigabyte. No contracts, no fuss. Visit your nearest Paratus branch to find out more. Or go to paratus.africa/Namibia to sign up online.
Always prepared, Paratus.
We are all seeking connection to each other, to the world, to the spaces we exist in.
Like poor sportsmanship right now from the lads.
1.85 for the national record.
Here's another chance, and it is a goal from Vindel Kahana.
Sy sê die is er aan neergetrek en hy bal het my grond gevat. Ja, hy het grond gevat en is hier
running that mountain up. Okay, so we will be doing this. More advanced, slightly advanced.
So is jou trolley reg? Want
I love it. I love it. So then
kickstart our countdown at number 5 with this one.
Op Netwerk TV se Klets Kompas gesels ons nuus van 'n Maandag tot Donderdag. Ons kyk ook na die weer en meer. Stories wat jou raak en stories wat saak maak.
They've made a mistake in denying me bail, and they've made several other mistakes in many other cases.
The channels that teach us something new or reflect our expression. So it goes beyond switching to the right station. It's about choosing the experience that can adorn the present, dressing it with our tastes as we expand our preferences, because what we are actually connecting to is boundless, limitless human energy, and this is the spirit of NTV.
Well, the Namibia Basketball Federation FNB 5-on-5 league saw the Zambezi men's team crown the overall champions, with the Komas claiming the women's overall title last weekend. Held at Swakopmund SFC Sports Center and Walvis Base Jan Wilkens Stadium and Koisipmund basketball courts, the competition brought together 18 teams from various regions across to shoot for victory in back-to-back 53-game showdown. Team Zambezi dominated Team Umusati 59-52 in the men's final to clinch the overall title, while Team Komas reigned supreme with an unbeaten record in the women division, ultimately clinching the title with a commanding 105-16 victory over Team Oshana. That's 105-16. I don't know if that's a good score for a final match, but 105 is quite a lot for a team that just scored 16. Well, before we do move over to Ari, let's just have a look at the team that is scheduled to take on Boland Cavaliers in the friendly match that is scheduled for Saturday and will be live on DSTV channel 285, GoTV 25, and on 1UP2 as well. Well, Namibia has come up with a strong team. Sydney Halupe from Swakopmund is in the team, Edward Drotsky, a youngster from Marienthal, and we also have Jason Bernarda, who is vice captaining the side. Ruan Ludik is in the team. Diomande Chombe is also in the front pack, and then we have Adrian Boysen, who will be the achtste man in the team, the eighth man in the team. Well, Jacques Teron will bring the experience to scrum half, and then we have Denzo Bruver, who just had a wonderful tournament with the tennis side, Castle Light Rugby tournament. I think he'll bring in a lot of experience into the team as well. And then we have Jürgen Meyer, who plays for Wanderers, one of the fastest players that I've seen thus far. Danko Berger will be captain of the team, with Alkino Isaacs bringing his experience into the side as the outside center. I think he scored one of the only tries that we did score in the World Cup, if I am not mistaken, or not in the World Cup, but against the Blue Bulls last year. And we also have Owen Hawanga, who will be on the wing, and Ashton Mukwilongo, all the way from the Dolphins, not Dolphins Club, but all the way from the Kudus Club in the coast, that will be playing in the 15th place. Well, there you have it. Friendly clash, meet the coaches. Namibia 2027 World Cup preparations campaign is on. The match kicks off at 3 o'clock, and you guys can watch the game on NTV. The broadcast is set to kick off at 2:30. So we are all very excited for that match. I mean, if you guys do not know where to watch the match, or if you do not have DSTV, do not fear, do not worry. You guys can check out on Facebook on our Sports Rap page. We'll be sharing all the information there, giving you live updates to the game, where you can just click on links and follow the game, of course. Well, Ari Ochat is on standby, and he'll be joining us after the break.
Your life could change at any second, but you'll never know until you take the chance. With sports betting, number games, and online casino gambling, JSB is your best bet. Will you be Namibia's next instant millionaire? Place your bets easily online at jsbsports.bet or at any JSB location nationwide. We'll take you to the action anywhere, anytime. JSB, where the next instant millionaires come to play. Strictly no under 18s. JSB supports responsible gambling. Winners know when to stop.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with soccer news first from the Champions League. Interesting games that was played. Most of the teams playing at home struggled to go through to the last 16, and many of them fell out, of course. And it is one of them, AC Milan. They're out of the tournament. They drew against Feyenoord at home 1-1, but it was Feyenoord that went through on aggregation score. That was by 2-1. So AC Milan out of the last 16. Also, it was Club Brugge that beat Atalanta. That was a home game for Atalanta, and that game Club Brugge won by 3-1. That was for a great aggregate of 5-2. Club Brugge through to the last 16. Some of the bigger clubs also had it difficult. It was Bayern Munich that had to work very hard, and with a late goal at home, they had a 1-1 draw against Celtic, and that see them through to the last 16. It was firstly Nicolas Kuhn that scored in the 63rd minute for Celtic. That was for them to lead 1-0. But then it was Alphonso Davies that scored in the 94th minute for Bayern Munich for them to draw the game, and with an aggregate score of 3-2 through to the last 16. Also, Benfica had to work hard. They played at home against Monaco, and in the end it was a 3-3 draw, a very exciting game, and it's Benfica through on aggregate of 4-3, also through to the last 16. On to rugby news, the Six Nations rugby this coming weekend, one of the big games, England hosting Scotland. Besides that it is a Six Nations game, they're also playing for the Calcutta Cup. They've been playing for that for a very long time. And team news from England is that Lock Ollie Chesham, he's back in the starting 15. He replaces George Martin, that will drop down to the bench. So that's the only change in the run on 15 for England. That means that number 10 and 15 will stay the same as the previous game. It was Marcus Smith that mostly played fly-half this season. He's remained at 15 at fullback, and it is Finn Smith that will be the fly-half. He had a man of the match performance the previous game for England. Other games in the Six Nations this coming weekend, they see Wales that will host Ireland, and then also on Sunday it's Italy that will host France. To close off today's international sports news, it is tennis news. Some big names falling in the Qatar Open. The biggest name, Novak Djokovic. He's number 3 seed. He's out of the tournament. He lost to Matteo Berrettini by 7-6 and 6-2. And then also it's Stefanos Tsitsipas, number 6 seed, also out of the tournament, losing to Hamed Medjedovic in 3 very close sets. And 2 higher seed players that's through to the next round. Number 5 seed Andrei Rublev. He's safely through, beating Alex Rublev. And then number 4 seed Daniel Medvedev beating his countryman, that is Karen Khachanov, and that was 4-6, 7-5 and 6-3. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.